great to see so many people on Zoom. It's great to have such a great turnout, and thanks for the gift for putting on such a great event. I'll talk about Chiasma a little bit later for those who are unfamiliar with the organisation, but I wanted to talk a little bit about my own journey to begin with. So I came to uni a few years ago, 4, 5, 6 years ago now, and I wanted to be a doctor, a neurosurgeon in fact. So I did, as a lot of students have done, I did the health sciences first year degree course. And I actually really hated it. And I actually ended up dropping out after my first semester. So I sort of took some time off. I worked for about 8 months just in an office, nothing to do with science. And then I decided to come back to uni and study zoology. Don't ask me why I chose to come back and do zoology. That's just what I did. And unfortunately, zoology was not for me either. There was just far too many field trips in the snow and rain for my liking. I prefer to be indoors out of that kind of weather. And as part of this degree, I could take some genetics papers. So I decided, okay, I'm going to move and focus more on genetics. And I also picked up a physiology minor along the way, but I never really took any papers. And that was at the time that you could add and delete papers without having to queue up on any lines over at the link. So it was quite easy to do. And as part of this genetics degree, I was able to take a microbiology paper as sort of an add-on. So I thought, why not give this a go as well? And it was near the end of this paper that I got the opportunity to sit down and have a careers sort of meeting or degree meeting with a member of staff in the microbiology department. And they sat me down and they said, look, I said, I don't really know what I'm going to be doing. I don't know what I want to do with this degree. And they said to me, well, your genetics grades aren't very good. Perhaps you should switch to a microbiology degree. And it was pretty brutal. But I thought, you know what, I agree. So I did, and fast forward 3 years, 1 bachelor's degree, 1 honours degree, and now I'm on my way to getting my PhD in microbiology, well, hopefully anyway. And I like to tell this story because it demonstrates that everyone takes a different path in their university degree and to get kind of where they're meant to end up. And I think the same goes for your career after you graduate and the jobs and journey that you go on. So I can honestly say that I wouldn't be where I am today if I hadn't dabbled in all of these different subject areas. And I think it's made me a better scientist because I can draw on that information that I've learned from all of those different subjects. Now, I'm definitely not saying, so I know a lot of you are at the end of your degree, to go back and do something else just because of what I've said. I've racked up quite a lot of student debt doing that. So I definitely, if you found something that you enjoy and you love, definitely stick with it. So I sorted out my degree, but the other thing was my grades weren't that great. And so I thought, what other things can I do to get myself noticed, sort of get ahead? And I thought the best way to do this was to Google how to get rich. And obviously, you know, I've got some obvious answers, you know, get a job, sell a kidney. So I got some part-time jobs, but there were some other things that I could do, which was volunteer work. So yes, I'll put my hand up and say it, that the reason that I got into volunteer work in the beginning was definitely to make it look good on my CV. But I found out quickly that it became a lot more than that. And I actually really enjoyed what I was doing, and I stuck with a number of those volunteer roles. And one of those was Chiasma. So I started with Chiasma at the start of last year on the team, and I was an events team member who organised sort of the events that we run throughout the year. And now I am the CEO of Chiasma Dunedin this year, which sort of oversees the whole team here in Dunedin. And I think the biggest challenge I had with this was learning how to interact with different groups of people and adapting to how that changed in different situations. So i.e. learning to interact with people that maybe I wouldn't interact with on a normal day-to-day basis. So for those of you that aren't familiar with our organisation, we're a not-for-profit national organisation run by students for students. So we have teams in Dunedin, Wellington, Auckland, and Manawatu now. And we're all about professional development. So we help equip STEM students with the necessary skills and information they need to enter the job market. So in a nutshell, we want to help you find jobs. So there's a number of ways that we do this. The first is that we run workshops for improving networking skills or upping your LinkedIn game. And we run these with the fabulous Lindley, who you guys heard from earlier this evening. And this is a great way to kind of get some more information about how to get ahead when applying for jobs or meeting new people. We also hold site visits. So this gives you a behind the scenes look at different companies that you may not get before applying for a job. So it's really giving you that extra information to kind of get ahead that way. And probably the biggest part of Chiasma is networking events. So we bring in industry professionals to talk about what it's like to work in their industry, their job, how they got into their job, and give you sort of the advice on how to get the best job for you. Because I myself, I'm not an expert in these kind of things. So it's my job and the team's job to bring in other people that are the experts on this type of thing. So I know this may be a little late for some of you talking about Chiasma, but as you're getting ready to leave at the end of the year, but for those that are returning to uni next year, I really encourage you to come along to our events. They're completely free, there's free food, and it's a really great opportunity just to meet people. In addition to our events, I'm going to shamelessly plug my organisation now. We are just started advertising our positions for the next year's exec team on Facebook this morning. So head along to Chiasma Dunedin on Facebook and have a look there. Otherwise, come and chat to me in the breakout room afterwards and we can have a chat about that. And for those that are leaving at the end of the year, if you'd like any advice on getting jobs in the industry, want to talk about what companies are out there, come and have a chat to me as well. So what I wanted to end with is this very famous quote that says, "Find a job you enjoy doing and you will never work a day in your life." And this is very true when it comes to my story. I changed my degree so many times to find out what I actually enjoyed. And the same can really be said, that's why that I kept these volunteer roles, is that I enjoy it. So Chiasma can help you find jobs that are out there, but it's up to you to go out and find what you enjoy so that also you can never work a day in your life. Thanks very much.